Hey, what's up, guys? Adam Lunt here. NFL draft season is upon us. Now that the season is over, April will be here in no time. So I wanted to break down a few plays for you guys to get a better understanding of Mason Rudolph's ability to digest coverage and process information quickly. This is an important part of being a quarterback. At times, it's kind of the most misunderstood part of the evaluation process, in my opinion. And I'm going to break down 3 or 4 plays here for you today that kind of show some gaps in Rudolph's ability to break down coverage quickly. In a later video, I'm going to break down 3 or 4 more other videos on some areas in this particular topic where he succeeds a little bit more effectively. I'm going to provide a pre-snap look, a post-snap look, about 1 to 2 seconds after the snap, and then run the play through so you can kind of get a full idea of what we're looking at. Should give you an idea of how the play works through the eyes of the QB. If you actually look on the sidelines when quarterbacks are looking through those screenshots, these are the type of looks that they're looking at, is pre-snap and post-snap as well. So I'm going to start with this play. Number one, the situation here is 3rd and goal. This is against Texas Tech in 2017. This is a game where OSU really struggled in the red zone. There was a play before this, same situation, same formation, same play actually. And it ended up being a touchdown pass to Justice Hill. But I'm mentioning this because Texas Tech played a really nice man coverage on this particular play, and nothing was open. So I think that kind of impacts what Rudolph is thinking right now at this point in regards to what's going to happen with this play. I think there's a little bit of confidence that he's lost just because we've already seen him run this play and not have success on his primary read. So just moving through this very quickly here, just identifying a little bit of coverage. You're going to have, what looks like to be a man coverage on the outside, and then a man coverage on this side as well. These are kind of the defenders that I'm circling here that we're not exactly sure about in regards to kind of what they're going to see, these inside 3 in terms of zone. But what you're going to see is basically 2 in cuts by these outside receivers, and then you've got a corner route by McCleskey, and this is kind of our primary read. We want to hit this in the back of the end zone. Like I mentioned, there was a play before this earlier in the first quarter, actually, where this play was covered very well. So you got to think that that's playing a role in regards to Rudolph's mentality right now. So what you're going to see, I'm gonna give you a little bit about 2 seconds. Fast forward here. So what you see here is this seems to be some type of miscommunication. You got man here, man here. This defender has immediately opened up his hips, like there's going to be some type of like banjo exchange responsibility with this receiver, like we saw on the previous play. Or it's going to be a zone situation where they're going to bracket this inside receiver, Stoner, who's going to come in on this in cut. Something's not right here. Rudolph does not recognize this. This should be a tell because you've got this guy locked in, this guy locked in, this guy open hips. So that should be a tell that he is going to let McCleskey pass and stick right around this goal line area. So you'll see that here. Right here, he starts to make his way back towards the goal line to bracket Stoner. McCleskey runs free, wide open. Rudolph does not see it effectively and is not able to make the throw. So obviously he scrambles, makes a nice play, but in terms of NFL draft analysis, you pretty much have to assume that play is not going to be available. Whether that means that the pass rush is a little bit better, the contain is a little bit better from the defense, or the coverage is better. One of those 3. You'd like to see him hit that read right immediately after that defender open their hips up and starts to crash down on the goal line. So that's certainly something that you'd like to see from Rudolph from a analysis perspective of reading defenses. Moving on to the second play, similar situation, 2nd and goal around the 5 or 6 yard line. So we're back at it here. This is actually, I was on the wrong play. 3rd and goal here, similar situation. But you've got 2 by 2, similar defensive look from Texas Tech, 6 guys across the goal line. And this is going to be a different look. So I think what needs to be going through Rudolph's head is that this is a similar defensive look. And this is going to be a half field read. So you've got, what we do know is we've got 2 by 2. We're going to run the same route on each side of the field. So we've got a slot receiver kind of running a 3 to 4 yard like stick or out route right here, and he's going to sit down right around this area. And then you've got same thing with McCleskey on this side, and then you've got a double post on the outsides. So effectively, we're either going to try to hit this underneath, or we're going to try to hit the back of the end zone. So it's going to the coverage is going to kind of depend on where we go with this ball. As you can see in that previous play, we did have a defender that's sitting right on the goal line and man coverage. Well, this is going to be a different look, and this is something that Rudolph has to understand immediately up post snap, and I'll run it for you here. Okay, stop here. You got open hips on the corner. You got open hips on the corner. You got everyone pretty much dropping back and with their eyes on the QB. This is zone coverage. We have to identify that immediately post snap. Now, with that being said, if we're going to do a true half field read, which is totally fine, he zones in on the kind of the right side of the field. What we need to know is what. So if this defender is in zone coverage, he's going to sit right here. And then if this defender is going to be zone coverage, he's going to probably sit right here because this guy's going to be in his zone. The question is what is this guy? This is Dakota Allen, the really good linebacker. If he sits his heels right on this goal line, kind of maybe expecting a slant or some type of inside route, then that's going to leave the back of the end zone wide open. So really the read is right here. We need to be evaluating him in terms of what he does. What you'll end up finding is Rudolph doesn't read him. He locks in on the slot receiver. It basically ends up exactly like you think it is, where these defenders sit on the goal line, he's covered up, and he doesn't see James Washington sprinting wide open in the back of the end zone. And that's the exact same scenario on this side as well. These defenders sit on the goal line, outside receiver sits on the goal line in zone coverage, and lets this man go free to the back of the end zone, and he doesn't see. So right here, you can see Dakota Allen has no idea where James Washington is. This ball needs to be out of his hands, thrown to the back of the end zone for effectively a wide open touchdown. Now he is seeing a little bit of pressure here, so that certainly affects his eyes and whatnot. But if he was confident and able to identify the coverage early, this would have been an easy touchdown. Okay, moving on to the fourth play. This is in the Bedlam game this year. This isn't exactly a play that you'll see a lot in the NFL. I mean, this is an RPO play. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Rudolph makes a lot of decisions pre-snap, regardless of what the defense does. This play is pretty simple from like a schematic perspective. You have an RPO, which basically, Hill is going to crash down, and there's going to be a mesh point here where Rudolph makes a decision on whether to pull it or hand the ball off. That decision is purely based off this defender right here, what I'm circling on my cursor. If he crashes down on the run, you're supposed to pull the ball. If he drops back into coverage, you hand the ball off. So I'll show you exactly, here, let me run about 1 or 2 seconds up. So as you can see, this is about 1 second after the snap. This defender he's not even looking at the line of scrimmage. He immediately backs up. Not only did he back up, he is facing the receiver. So this should be a situation where you're handing the ball off. If there's not really a better example than this, that Rudolph makes a lot of decisions pre-snap, regardless of what the defense shows you. So I'm going to go another 2 seconds here. So right here, he pulls the ball, makes a poor decision, right? Which I'm kind of on the fence about that. I mean, you don't get a lot of time to make that decision, so he makes a mistake. But at the same time, you got to realize it's 1st and goal here. You're on the 3-yard line. It's 1st and goal. You potentially could go up by 7, or even a field goal ties the game. You got to have that in the back of your head. This is bracket coverage. Receiver kind of gets cut off here, but you got tight man coverage, and you got inside help here. This play is going nowhere. So this really needs to go through the back of the end zone. You need to make a better decision than this. Ultimately, what he does is forces the ball, sends throws a critical interception, and changes the course of the game. So obviously not the best play, but good example of the fact that Rudolph really isn't reading this player. He's making a pre-snap determination on where he's going with the ball, and this actually shows up in some other areas with the tape as well. That actually leads me to this next play, which shows kind of pre-snap determination as well. Another RPO play. This is against Iowa State in 2017, and I think what we see pre-snap is three-man rush, dropping 8. Now, Iowa State was famous for their double cloud coverage, and what you're going to see here is more than likely in cloud coverage, a cornerback usually drops on one side to cover the flat, and then the coverage shifts over because of the high safeties. You could probably make that determination pre-snap that that's most likely going to be this side just because of the safety help. But we don't know that pre-snap. That's something that we need to learn post-snap. But what you do have here is an RPO play. This is the read player, I think. Sometimes it's hard to tell with so many people outside of the box. But I'm going to assume that this is the read player here. And then you're going to have 4 verts called, which is a great play against this alignment. Defensive alignment here. So this is kind of the area we're going to focus in on is this side. And I'll run this a little bit for you. So you can see that this linebacker sucks up a little bit. You've got 2 receivers streaking down on vertical routes here. This corner is going to sink down to the flat like we talked about. And this safety actually creeps up and starts to defend the run, which is interesting. That's a different call than what we historically saw in this particular game. This opens up a beautiful opportunity for Rudolph, where you've got basically 2 vertical routes versus 1 safety. And what needs to happen here is he needs to be able to manipulate this safety one way or the other. So, for example, if he's going to take his eyes and go to the sideline, then this safety creeps over there, and then he comes back to the slot, or vice versa. He starts creeping to the middle. The safety does because of Rudolph's eyes. Then he takes the sideline. What happens is he doesn't even look at the slot, and then this safety is able to read the eyes of Mason Rudolph and effectively be able to make a play on a receiver that was wide open. As you can see here, I'll just stop. There's no one here. This is a touchdown. So this safety, he's out of the frame, but he's crashing in here. Now, the ball's already been thrown, but if you rewind, he was already leaning towards the sideline before this ball was thrown. So really, a quick pump fake, or at least just holding your eyes a little bit longer, would have kept this receiver wide open, and this is a touchdown. I mean, there's no one there. So he's by himself. So those are just a few examples of things that I found where Rudolph doesn't exactly do the best job of post-snap analysis of coverage, and being able to digest information quickly to be able to make quick reads. So I'll be back at you with some more examples moving forward. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take care.